Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family. Welcome to Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, where the sun always shines and the power of spirit is ever present. It's good to see familiar and new faces in our congregation, and we also say a big hello to everyone joining us live via SBTV from our Facebook and YouTube pages. And of course, great thanks to our producer, Richard James. It gives me great pleasure today to introduce our guest medium, Minister Simone Key, SNU Certificate Diploma holder, Chair of the SNUI, the Internet branch of the SNU, and an Arthur Findlay College tutor who gives lectures and workshops in the UK and internationally. Simone will be giving us the address and her demonstration of mediumship, but she will begin with a brief introduction about her spiritual journey and work as a medium, and then open the service in prayer. Thank you, Simone.
Thank you. Thank you all very much indeed for joining us today. My journey into spiritualism is perhaps a slightly bit unusual because my parents were two different religions. My mother was a Jew and my father was Presbyterian, and my sister and I were told from very early age not that they would not indoctrinate us with religion, that we would be free to find our own. And from that moment on, I started to look into religion, and I became a very staunch atheist for many years, until one day things started to happen to me. I started to feel things and sense things and know information that I couldn't have known through my normal senses, and that set me on this path. And it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy to believe this, but once I started the journey, I actually started to disprove it, and that's why I'm here today. So that's it in a nutshell. So now, if you'd like to join with me in prayer, I'd be really grateful. So let's just move our thoughts away from the world today and unite in love and light to that higher power we call God. Divine and loving Spirit, our Creator, we thank you for this time together in peace and in friendship. And as we move our mind away from the trials of the day, we unite in love to you, our God. We know that each person here is in search of something, whether that be truth, joy, upliftment, or understanding. We know that we join together in your harmony, in your power. As we look to you, our God, we give thanks to you. Despite the crises our world is going through, we still give thanks to you for allowing us these opportunities to get together in the power of the Spirit. We know that each person here is touched by that power. We know that we all engage together in that brotherhood and sisterhood of spirit. And we know with your loving care and your guidance, we will be powerful, making impacts on our world, maybe in small ways, but nevertheless worthwhile. We know that today is a day too of celebration, where the worlds of spirit and matter unite, where there is no veil or separateness, but just a joining together of minds. And we welcome those from the spirit world who come close, giving us the benefit of their love, their light, and their understanding. And we ask that we do all that we do in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Simone. Now, please join me to still our minds and our hearts as we pray for all those people, children and animals in need of spiritual healing, love and light across the planet, in places of war and conflict, nations affected by natural disasters, victims of the Titanic submarine, the many refugees whose lives were lost en route to Greece, and everyone involved in rescue operations. For the alleviation of war in the Ukraine, our National Health Service, the selfless doctors and nurses who work tirelessly for our well-being. We pray for peace in our time and the abolition of atrocities and violence, and we thank the power of the Holy Spirit for giving us strength and hope in times of doubt and despair. We also include at this time all the names on our church healing lists and healing lists everywhere. We now move our attention into the healing silence to be followed by the serenity prayer, which we will say together. And please refer, church congregation, to the white boards if you are unfamiliar with the words. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Jim, can you please take the offertory in church, and anyone online wishing to make a free will donation may do so on the following link, which is also listed on the Wimbledon Church Facebook pages: www.paypal.com/paypalme/LAD proms. Richard, if you can, thank you. I was just going to ask you to put some names on screen. Can you reduce the size of Simone's screen so I can just read the comments, please? Thank you.
I think it's to hear, because we've never heard the word Simone was saying.
Okay.
So,
right, thank you. So good morning to Sandra E. Thank you, Sandra, for joining us for today's service, and God bless you. And we say hello also to Bev Ridley from Australia. Hello, Bev, and it's a pleasure to see you today at Wimbledon. James Fornelli in Texas. Good morning, James. I hope you are well. And Jacqueline Ann Forrester, healing thoughts to everybody in need. Thank you so much, Jacqueline, and healing to yourself and everyone that you know that is in need. Good morning, June Malkin. Thank you, June, for joining us today. It's a pleasure to see you. And Mary Dixie. Good morning, Mary. We were all wishing you well and sending you much healing, and thank you for joining us. And Christine Woodham from Spain. Nice to have you back. Lots of love. Thank you very much, Christine, and much love to you as well. And Nick Brown. Good morning, Nick. Pleasure to see you, and thank you for joining our Wimbledon service. So I'll take one more, Richard, and then we will continue with the service. And Kev Day is saying good morning to us, and good morning to you, Kev, and it's a pleasure to see you here for our service. Thank you very much, everybody, and thank you, Jim, for doing the offertory. And now I would like to do the reading for today, which is an extract from White Eagle's book, The Living Word of St. John. And this piece is entitled The Blooming of the Rose. The rose is called the flower of love and often used as a token of love. The human heart, like the rose, can turn towards the sun, towards the blessing of the light, and receiving can expand in wisdom and understanding. There is so much behind and within the teaching of Jesus that only the heart can understand. For 2,000 years, men and women have been seeking understanding on the mental plane at the mental level, but seeking largely in vain. There have been those, however, who have not only read the ancient scripts, but who have entered the inner sanctuary to meditate and absorb the light. There they have found truth. But truth can only really be found when the heart is selfless at the time of meditation, and when it so aspires that the outer life also becomes selfless, with thought only for the needs of others. In such a one, the rose starts to bloom and shed its fragrance through the life. Centuries after, the world acclaims such people as saints, as elder brethren, as masters. A master is one who has attained mastery over the lower self and on every plane of being. Such mastery arises from strength of spirit, which is love. Love is the power by which a master works his or her white magic. The greatest power in this world or the next is love. And love is power, love is wisdom. Wisdom, love, and power are inseparable. 3 in 1 and 1 in 3. Love is the link which binds and yet gives complete freedom when applied. It never fails, no matter how difficult a problem confronts the soul. When in doubt, fear, anxiety, in sickness, or when death draws near, the key to freedom, the key to heaven itself, is love towards God. Thank you.
Thank you.
Simone, can you now please give us your address? Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
So that people can see them in the church.
Thank you.
So I have to stand. So that gives us 1 minute. Are you able to turn it round, or I'll stand here with it? Because people can't hear.
Sorry.
What do we
The
do?
iPad. Because nobody in the church can actually see.
Do you want to do it?
I'll hold it. Okay. And I'm hoping, Simone, I'm putting the microphone on.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Okay. Simone, you're now. Everyone.
Hello, can you hear me?
Go on, please, Simone.
Okay. All right. Okay.
We're trying to put you as loud as possible.
It's okay.
So apologies for this. Occasionally we have little problems. Okay. Okay, if you'd like to start, I'm hoping it will pick up on the microphone.
Okay. Good morning again, everybody, and thank you again for joining us today.
If you'd like to come to the front, then I think you may just hear that bit better. Because we don't have time to come up with any other chances of doing this without starting all again. And as we've messed about with Simone, and Simone is part of the SNU, is to do with audio and IT, so you know the problems we sometimes have. People are just moving forward. I know that you can't see them, but you do have a dozen or so in the congregation.
Okay.
Okay, people have moved forward.
Right, thank you. Okay, so once again, good morning to you all, and thank you for joining us today. I'd like to share my thoughts with you on. I'm so sorry. It's just too noisy. I'm so sorry. I can't shout over that. That's lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much. So I would just like to share my thoughts with you about the part of the reading, really, which was to what stood out for me was the fact that when we sit and we meditate and we find the light and the light of the spirit. And I know that every one of us has our own light, whether we recognize it or we don't, or whether we feel we found it or not, we still have a light. And that light shines brightly. And I believe, and please remember, that's just my opinion, based on my experience, but I believe that we are known by the Spirit, by our light. And despite the fact that when we're feeling very dark, when we're feeling very down, we don't see that light, we don't feel that light, and we certainly don't feel powerful. And yet I believe that's the time when the spirit world is closest to us. It's the time when they are there for us, every one of us, up trying to uplift us, trying to enlighten us, trying to inspire us at every opportunity. We have a great responsibility for that light because it is our life force, and because that power that we are is there within everybody, every single person on our earth, as well as in everything that's living, including nature and animals and everything else. But I know that that power makes us change. It's a transformational power. When we open up our hearts and our minds to it, we may not know where is it going to take us, how is it going to find us, what are we going to become? But just that opening of the mind and allowing that power to blend with us and allowing that light to show us our direction is everything. We come across difficulties almost daily in some way or another. If they're not personal, then the difficulties of others too. And we don't have all the answers as spiritualists. None of us has the answers to life, all the answers to life. But what we do know is that each one of us has the capacity and capability within us to help one another, even by just being there, even just by using our voice in a way that can help and enable that individual to feel that somebody cares. I believe it's through our compassion and our empathy that we shine our light the brightest. That through our care for one another, that's what matters most in life. I believe that's our greatest lesson, is to learn how to love one another, despite the fact that we don't know who we are as individuals. It makes no difference, because I have the same amount of power as you do, and you have the same amount of power as I do. And we are joined together through that power of life force, that power of God, that power of light. And each individual deserves the very best within that light. And sometimes life can get in the way of having that light in our life. But we have to remember that the more we suffer, the more the spirit world becomes even closer to us, trying their hardest to project that light to us. So we do find that cliche of the light at the end of the tunnel. That light of us, each individual, shines so brightly it can be blinding to those in the spirit, because it offers hope. It offers us so much more intellectual challenges. It offers us so much more to think about than just light itself. You cannot be inactive when you're in light. You become progressive. You become uplifted and eventually awakened to a state that's transforming in light. When we put all our earthly issues to one side and we recognize the power that we each have, then we understand the nature of humanity, that we are there for each other. We are there to be guided and to guide, to help and support one another, to encourage another no matter where we are or who we are, that we all deserve happiness. We all deserve the right for a good life. And that life to me is, of course, it's material. That's why I'm in this world and why you are too. But that's not all there is. That light shows us that there is so much more to life as well as death. That light that you and I have moves people in a way that they may not be conscious of. That just by sitting next to someone not even speaking. You are sharing your light with another. Sometimes words are meaningless. Sometimes there aren't enough words to say, I'm sorry, or I just care. Sometimes we need more, and that's in the power of prayer within light. That light offers us that link to that higher force that some of us call God. You may call life force. You may call whatever you like, universal consciousness. It doesn't matter to me. But as long as we know it's a superior power, as long as we know that we each have access to that power to help us cope with life, regardless of what happens to us, no matter what our destiny, we are entitled to that. And each one of us should be proud of the light that we shine, regardless of what's going on in our lives. The fact that we are here together shows that we have a respect for that light, that we have to find spiritual fulfillment, if you like. And that comes through finding that light. And whether you find that light in meditation, whether you find that light in sitting still, sitting quiet, or finding that light, inviting the spirit close to you. But the fact that you are looking for it says everything to the spirit world. It's those minds that don't know it, that's where the spirit world despairs. They don't know it, they don't look for it, and they don't realize they need to find it. And the spirit world we work with, the spirit world we blend with, the spirit world we serve is always there in light. In all my years of working as a working medium, I have never, ever heard one individual in the spirit world say to me that they regret where they are. Yes, they may regret, of course, what they've done when they were on this earth or what they haven't done, but they never regret where they are. And when I see those minds in the spirit world, I see their light. I feel their power. And that power is powerful. It means that there is so much more to life and not just death. We know that we survive physical death and that our lives go on for eternity. And in that, we have a responsibility to see that our light shines, to see that we make sure we reach the potentials that are there within each person, no matter where or who. And that light will help us. If we focus on the light, because it's so easy to focus on the dark, especially today with so many awful things going on. But we must remember as often as possible that that light is our saving grace. That light is who we are. We are not of the darkness, we are of the light. And we can allow that darkness to affect us so that it takes away from our light. But we should always try our best to find it, because when we do, we find humanity itself, and then we can find that love that came through that reading, that love that pervades everything, regardless of who we are, what we do, and how we look for it. Each one of us has that right to be loved and to love. And that, I know, can be quite difficult for many people to understand. But I really want you to know you are loved because you are light, because you are there, because you are now, and you are in the present. And you will always be loved by that higher power that some of us call God. And I thank you for listening.
I'm going to get a stand so I can put a stand next to you.
Yes. Thank you very much, Simone, for that beautiful address.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you. Now let us take a moment to reflect on the address before Simone demonstrates her mediumship. And if I could just apologise to everybody online and in church for the technical difficulties we've been experiencing today. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be possible for Simone to give messages to the church congregation because we're still having the sound problem in church. But I understand that everyone online can actually hear Simone very, very clearly.
Okay.
So that will be the plan. And I would ask that if spirit communicators are drawing close to you with a message, please respond with a clear yes or no to the statement. Or if in doubt, just say, I'm not sure, and Simone can then ask Spirit for further clarification. I cannot emphasize how important it is for Simone to hear your voice and receive your text messages online, because that is the conduit of the energy which Spirit needs to make a strong connection. So once again, I will hand over to Simone for demonstration. Thank you, Simone.
If some of the church does pick up and believe it's for them, then we will have to talk through it.
Okay.
Can people see that?
I'm aware of a lady who's joined us from the spirit world, and she tells me she's a mum and she would like to speak to her daughter. She tells me that she was ill for the last 8 years of her life, and it was a very gradual decline. And also she tells me that she had a real problem swallowing as well. There was a problem with her esophagus and her digestive system as well. I know that she wants to speak again to her daughter, and she tells me that her daughter has her ring, but it would be worn on her daughter's right hand, not the left hand. Does anybody understand that, please?
Understand it in the church. There's a lady that understands it in the
Nobody
church.
understands this at all.
Okay, I'd like you to come to the front.
Okay.
Simone, I don't know if anyone online has said, but we have a lady, and I put her to the front of the church, and she can understand everything that you've said.
Okay, that's fine. Then that's good. Okay, so if she can just nod to me, I'd be really grateful. Okay.
Can you? I'm not sure if you can see her. What I'll do,
I can only just see the top of her head.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's it. I can see her now. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That's okay then.
Great. Okay. I had a feeling it was for someone in the church, to be honest. So I'm pleased that we've got this place so far. I do feel that you and your mum had a very, very special bond, which was very 50-50 in relationship. You know, you would have felt very, very comfortable together. You would have done a lot together. And she tells me that you would have taken her to various doctors and hospital appointments. Yes. Okay. And she talks.
She can.
Yeah, I can see her nod. Thank you. And I also feel with your mum that she has a lovely speaking voice. That's what hits me the most. She has a lovely way of speaking. She's very particular about grammar. Good. Okay. Because I know that she was interested. She liked good English, is what I'm saying to you. You know how it's got to be grammatical. It you know, and she has this very soft spoken voice. Okay. I know that your mum wants to show you how close she is to you, because she's saying about you've been doing a lot recently, thinking about moving or something to do with moving. Okay. And she's saying to you that she is just suggesting, please remember that, she's just suggesting to you, don't make life more problematic than it is. She says, take it easy. Don't make more work for yourself if it's unnecessary. Okay. And she's talking about you going through a really difficult time this time of year, but 3 years ago. Yes. And she talks about how you made a compact. Sorry, that's not right. You made a pact with yourself to say, I'm not going to put myself through this trauma again or this stress again. And she's saying to you, that's why she's very careful with what she says, because she says to you, I don't want you stressing or make it going back to that kind of stress again. I want you just to take life as easy as possible and enjoy it. Because she seems to feel that the last couple of years of her life, she didn't really enjoy, if you understand that, because she was just not well enough to enjoy anything.
Understand.
Okay, and she's saying to you, and nothing to do with you with the illness, nothing whatsoever, but she's talking about just not being stressed, just enjoying life. She says that in the last couple of days you went for a walk, and you were very near, I think it's a pond or a lake. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Understand.
But you were walking along there, and you really enjoyed it.
Yes.
And this is something that she wants you to do more often. Okay, and she's saying to you that you felt her at the time, you felt her very close because you knew that she would have enjoyed it with you.
Yes.
And she says to you, that's how close I am. And that you must have seen, I'm so sorry because I'm not very good at nature, but she's trying to show me this lake or pond, and it's got some flowers nearby. And you must have stopped and looked at one.
Oh yes, I do that. Yes, I understand.
Okay, but it looks like a big flower. Look, I'm going to tell you what it looks like to me, and then it can be something completely different. But it looks a bit like a water lily.
Yeah, it was yeah, where the algae stuff, and there was, yes, I understand.
That's fine, as long as you know what she's talking about, because I don't. So she just wanted to say to you, you know, that's how close she is to you, and that she really wants to show you, your mum, she's alive, she's well, she's free, she's enjoying her life. She hasn't got the restrictions or limitations on her body like she had before, and now she can enjoy life through you too. She has the best of both worlds, she's saying to you. All she's saying to you is, please try not to make more stress than you need to. Okay, and thank you very much indeed for working with me. Thank you. Okay, let's see who else we have here. I'm aware of a man here, and I believe he's a father. And I know with this gentleman, he does seem a very gentle man. He comes across as well dressed, very well presented. And it must be a day of voices today, because he's got a really quite a lovely voice, very smooth, very easy voice I'm hearing. Somebody who I know that he suffered with his chest, and I do feel both lungs and heart as well. And I don't feel that this man is very old. He only looks to me, of course that depends on how old I am, but he only looks to me in his 60s, that's all. He may be a bit older than that, but he only looks that to me. I know that he's an intelligent man. I know he's self-taught, but he's an intelligent man, and he's always looking into things. He's always researching, looking in encyclopedias, looking up data all the time. And he just has this real kind of business mind for me. Does anyone understand this, please? You can. And who is that? Richard. Oh, right. Sorry, Richard. I didn't recognise your voice. Okay. As long as you understand it, that's fine. That's great. And you understand all of that, do you? All right. Okay. Okay. So, all right. Yeah, I can see that now. Sorry, I wasn't looking. Oh, okay. Thank you. Let me just sort out which one, who he's for. Okay. I do feel that this man would have given talks publicly. Do either of you understand that? No. James, did your father give talks? Yeah, okay. I just feel that this man was a good speaker. And I know you can take, and I just feel that he was a man that people like to listen to. He was always interesting. Well, he thought so anyway. So anyway, he's a really interesting guy, and he's got a lot of knowledge about a lot of things. He, you know, and we're talking to Kev now, is that right? Okay, brilliant. Okay. So Kev, you would understand that a lot of people would turn to your dad almost as an oracle, to be honest. Somebody who would always be able to give some kind of, now I'm not going to say particularly advice, because that makes me sound like I'm saying he would tell you what to do, but he would always try and find a solution to people's problems. Okay, do you understand that, Kev Day? Okay, I'll take it you're saying yes. So I just feel with your father that there was, but the irony of this is that your father is saying that there was a lot he couldn't say to you, and he regrets that now. He wished he'd been able to tell you so much more about his feelings for you. He just wasn't able to say anything that was emotional and had that deeper meaning. He could talk about facts and statistics and all sorts, but not about how he felt for people. And he feels that his biggest regret that he didn't have more time alone with you. That's what he's saying to you. And he's trying to make up for that now. He's trying to show you that he's there for you now. And he talks about your life, and he says to you how you're managing to get the balance better now than ever before. You're taking more time out for you. It might be just 10 minutes here and there, but it's more than you ever did before. And he's so happy for you now, because he feels that you've found your place in the scheme of things, that you feel much more content within yourself. And he says that as a youngster growing up, you never could find that happy balance, if you like. And he's just saying to you, wow, you've certainly made up for it now. He really is so close to you now, and he does regret the things that he didn't say and didn't do. But he is saying to you, I'm doing my very best now to help you from my world. I want you to know that I will always be there for you. Those are his words. I want you to know how much I care for you. I have always loved you and will always love you. I just couldn't bring myself to say those words. So he really wants to show you that you are everything to him and more. I know that your father, I know you said he was 60, but I know that your father wore glasses. And I know that towards the end, he had a real struggle with either his glasses or he couldn't see very clearly, one of the two, or both. But I just feel that he wanted to say to you, I can see clearly now. I really can see clearly. And I want you to know how happy I am that I've been able to talk to you today, because I've been waiting a long time. Okay. So please take your dad's love, and I really mean that sincerely. I'm feeling it for you. And I know that he's doing everything in his power to let you see how close he is to you. All right. And thank you very much for working with me. Okay. Let's see who else we have. I'm aware of a young boy now. He looks to me, oh grief, 17, 18, that kind of age group. And I don't feel he's a relation to anyone. I do feel he is a friend, or he was a friend some years ago. I know he was killed on a motorbike or even a moped. I'm not sure. It's a small bike anyway, but motorized. And
so there's a young man who was killed on a motorbike several years ago. He's a friend of somebody here or online.
Yeah, and he was killed instantly. He wasn't taken to a hospital and recovered, or, you know, there was no, it was killed absolutely instantly. But I know that he is talking to me about a female friend that was very close to him at the time. And it was almost like somebody who was like a second mum, or had that kind of feeling.
Somebody who was like a stepfather, or who had that
No,
kind
a second mum, no. Someone who was like a second mum to him. Someone he could talk to, somebody he could share his problems with.
Somebody who he could talk to and share his problems with.
get this feeling from this young guy that he had a very difficult childhood in terms of he couldn't sit still. He was a bit hyper. Maybe he suffered from ADHD or something.
Childhood.
Yeah. Nobody understands that. Okay. And nobody on online rather. Right. Okay.
Nobody in the church at the moment, Simone.
Okay, but I'll just keep going with him just for a few minutes. Just a couple more minutes. Okay. But it was a female friend he's talking about that would just be there in the background, and he would just drop by and just talk to, and then you might not see him for a couple of months more, and then he'd be back in your life again. That's what he's saying.
Female friend that he would see occasionally and talk to, and then you might not see him again for a long time, and then he'd reappear.
Nobody understands that. Okay. Well, if anyone remembers him, would you please just send a thought out to him? I know it could have been a long time ago, and so many of us have not got good memories these days, but if you could just send a thought out to him, I'd be really grateful. Oh, okay. Somebody said it could be her little brother. Okay. Would your brother have passed, Bev? Would your brother have passed through an accident? Sorry, could somebody? No, that it was definitely a bite. Okay. Okay. Would your brother have died in an accident?
We're just waiting to hear from Bev online to respond to Simone's question.
Okay. Just need to know if you had an accident. No, then I'm sorry, that's not how it is, because I definitely saw the accident. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for trying anyway. Okay. Well, I'm just going to ask you, if you don't mind, just to, if anyone thinks of him later, would you please just send a thought to him? I just know he's not family. I know he's a friend. I know he was hyper. He had real difficulties with education. I know too that he found it very difficult to settle at anything. So if you remember who he is, would you please just send him a thought? I'd be really grateful. Let's see who else we have here. Okay. Right, let's see who else there is. Okay. Okay, I've got a lady here. She tells me she's a grandmother on mother's side of the family. Oh, here we go. Is that Neil Payne of old? Okay. Hi, Neil. Would you remember it being someone that he would listen to? Yeah, but that's not. Oh, okay. But Neil, would you accept that the young man would have come to you every now and again for help? Can you just let me know, yes or no? I don't understand that. Would he have come to you for help? Just to talk to you about life? Could you just respond? Thank you. Sorry, Neil. Oh, I'm going to have to move on. I'm really sorry. I can't do this. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go back to the grandmother, if you don't mind. I've got a grandmother here on mother's side of the family, and I know that her granddaughter stayed with her for a couple of years in the granddaughter's life, okay? And you lived with your grandmother for a while because there were problems in the family. Does anybody understand that, please?
So somebody lived with their grandmother for a considerable amount of time, and there were problems in the family.
Hence the reason why they were living with a grandmother.
Hence the reason why they were living with a grandmother.
Nobody's talking to me. Okay. No. Right, okay. Oh, okay, that's good. So, Rebecca, would you accept that your grandmother became very possessive over you? And if you could respond quickly, I'd be very grateful. Just a yes or a no will do fine. Yes, I know you live with grandma, but could I ask you, did your grandmother become, I believe your grandmother became very possessive over you. She wanted you all to herself. If you could respond, I'd be really grateful. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay. I just feel that this grandmother was a lady who just loved to have you, to talk to you, used. Okay. Well, I'm hearing she was possessive, okay, that she didn't want anyone else coming in on that relationship. That's what she's telling me. And I just know with the grandmother, she's saying to me that she loved her life when she was with you. She really had, she feels that it was some of the best times of her life with you, not with everybody else, but just with you. That's what she's saying. And she really wanted to show how close she is to you still, and that how much you had helped her too, because I know that she was not the easiest person to be with. She's telling me, and please remember, I'm not trying to be judgmental. I'm not in a position to be judgmental over anybody, but she feels that she may have caused a lot of rifts in the family as well. And I'm just going to have to leave that with you, I'm afraid, because I'm not getting the response from anybody. But okay, and I just want you to know that this grandmother wants to tell her granddaughter that the times that she was with her were the happiest times in her life. They were the things that she hung on to. And she feels so happy that she's able to tell you that now, because she couldn't tell you that before. And she wants to show you that also towards the end of her life, she's telling me that she lost a lot of weight as well. And she just seemed to almost drift away. She just didn't want to live anymore. She just couldn't stay here. And she wants to show you she's a different person now. And she just wants to let you know that things are changing for you in a good way. That's what she's saying. I'm not a fortune teller, but she wants you to know that things are now moving on very quickly for you, that you have worked so hard to make changes in your life with regard to, you know, people in your life and so on. And she's saying to you, I'm so happy for you because life has started to lighten up for you. And she's so happy to tell you that she's still close to you and she's still an influence with you. And she only wants the very best, as she always did, always did. She's again saying to you about that very special bond between you that meant a lot to her, so much to her. She had never had that same bond with anybody else in her life. And she wants to reassure you that whatever you do, wherever you go, you're never going to be alone. She wants to be with you and to support you in everything you do. And she's saying to you that you've just made some changes in your life where you've decided to slow down just a little bit, not greatly, but just a little bit. And she's delighted because she feels that you've been working too hard and you've been there for too many people as well. So Rebecca, please take your grandmother's love. There is so much love for her, from her to you. And she wants you to know that you're still as special now as you were when you were a little girl. So thank you so much for working with me, and I'm sorry that was so difficult for you.
If we have time for one more, Simone, please.
Oh, have I? Right, okay. Okay, let's see who we've got now. Okay, well, I'm aware of a lady here. She's a young woman. I would say she's in her 40s. I know she was married with a couple of children, and I know that she passed through cancer, which started with breast cancer. I know too, this is a friend to somebody here, And one thing I can say to you is that this lovely lady, she is colourful. She wears a lot of bright colours. She wouldn't be like me wearing black and dark colours. She likes to wear very bright colours, and she's well made up as well. And she's got her hair's done. She looks perfect. Okay. So anyone understand?
Breast cancer used to wear very bright colours.
Well, she died of cancer, but it started with breast cancer, but then it went right the way through it. Yeah. Anyone understand that, please? That somebody is a friend of somebody here.
Someone's a friend of somebody here.
No. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Michelle. Okay. Michelle, would you understand that she would confide in you about her illness that she wouldn't with other people? Can I ask you that question again? Can you just respond, please? I'm so sorry. I know it's not easy for you. Would you know that she would confide in you that she wouldn't confide in other people? No, then I'm not with you then. Thank you very much for trying to help, but that's not, no, this is somebody who would only open up to certain person. Okay. Vicky, would you accept that your sister would tell you what she was really going through rather than what she would think you want to hear? Can you just respond? Just a yes or no would be lovely. Thank you. Okay, well, it looks like I'm not going to get a response. So I'm just gonna carry on, all right, and hopefully you can hear this. But I just know that she just wanted to give thanks to you, and to say to you, she really, really appreciated that closeness, that confidentiality that you shared with her, that she could be herself when she couldn't be herself with anyone else. She feels that you were able to help and support her more just by listening rather than doing anything. She was very independent. In fact, I would say she was fiercely independent to a fault. But she could only speak to you. I don't know what a kind of means. Okay, but anyway, I just know that she wanted to say thank you to you for being there with her right the way through it and appreciating the fact that what she said to you was held in confidence and not to be shared with everybody else, and you respected that. And she wants to say thank you again because you really helped her move on, because you would share with her understanding of life after death as well, and that really, really helped her. And she's saying that without you, of course she would have gone, but it would not have been the same because you helped her face her life away, you know, in that world. And she says to you, if I'd have known it was as good as it is, I wouldn't have fought so hard not to go there. But she's now saying to you, I've got the best of both worlds. Just remember that, all right? And she wants to give you all that love and support and show you that she's going to be there for you forever. She says it's time you know that you're loved, that you're cared for. There's a lot of us that love you, and you need to hear that right now. And she's saying to you, whatever you're feeling, don't feel less of you. Remember, you're a good person, a good soul, and whatever you do for the best of people. And we all know your power and your worth. So don't undervalue yourself, please. And she just is, she's just such a lovely, lovely person. She's gentle, she's kind, she's deep, she's philosophical, but she's such a lovely lady, and she just loves you so much. And she says to you, you'll never, ever know how truly gifted you are. And if you knew anything about me at all, you'd know I never use that word gift. I always use the word skill, but she said gifted, and I'm just quoting her, So please take her love, and thank you so much for working with me today. And thank you all for your support as well.
Thank you very, very much, Simone.
You're welcome.
I'm just readjusting the camera for the lectern. That's good. That's good. Just want to clarify something, Jackie, for a moment. We still having the instructions?
Yes, we are.
Yes, good. Yes, thank you. Thank you very, very much, everybody, and for bearing with us around the technical difficulties. I just would like to read some notices before we close the service. Tonight, June the 25th, Ivan Lee is giving a demonstration of mediumship at Wimbledon Spiritualist Church at 7 o'clock. The admission is £5. Tickets are available in advance on the link from our Facebook page. On June the 27th, we have a new spiritual healing evening starting every Tuesday under the supervision of Leslie Moulton, the head of our healing, for members of the community and animals. You will be greeted by our healer practitioners in a safe and welcoming atmosphere. That runs from 7 until 8:15 with free will donations. Spiritual healing is also available every Thursday, 10 a.m. until midday at Wimbledon Church. Animals again are also welcome. No appointments are necessary, and there is a free will donation. On June the 29th at Hackbridge Spiritualist Church, Ivan Lee again is giving a demonstration of mediumship at 7 p.m. The admission is £5, and tickets are again available in advance. On July the 4th, Dawn Collinson Quarry is starting up a development circle online via Zoom. The cost is £3.50 via PayPal, and if you are interested, please private message Dawn on Facebook or contact Ray Robinson at Wimbledon Spiritualist Church. A donation from each payment will go to the church. Finally, on July the 15th, there is a mediumship workshop with Ivan Lee at Hackbridge Spiritualist Church. The development of spirit communication in one-to-one readings and on platform. This runs from 12 noon until 3 p.m. and the cost for the day is £15. Please don't forget that it's our regular Friendship Club every Wednesday from 11:30 a.m. until 2 p.m. in church and 11:30 until 12:30 on Zoom. Please note that some Wednesdays we may not be on Zoom, so please check the weekly postings on the main Wimbledon Spiritualist Church page or our Facebook group. Thank you. And that concludes the notices. Please keep up to date with activities and special events, courses, workshops, and demonstrations on our Facebook pages and Instagram, where you will find links to pre-event booking facilities. Private readings are bookable online and are available at church or via Skype or Zoom. I will now ask Simone to close this service with prayer. Thank you, Simone.
Thank you. Divine and loving Spirit, our God, we thank you for this time together. And as we come to the end of our service this morning, we give thanks to you for allowing us this opportunity to meet in harmony, in your power. And now, as we think about the week to come, we pray that each one of us here is reminded of the duty we have, the responsibility we have for our minds, that we can think of others less fortunate than ourselves, and we can take care with our minds and our hearts by thinking of those that we can hold them dear to us and help them in this moment of struggle. We know each one who's here has a heart, has a mind that we can use in the power and your glory. And we know that we should be together as one in harmony, caring for one another. We know too that this day is special for those of us that know that we survive physical death, know that our loved ones have come close, And we know that those loved ones have touched our souls. And we give thanks to you, our God, for allowing this to happen. And we say thank you until we meet again. Amen.
Thank you, Simone.
Thank you.
I'd just like to close us out on a beautiful poem of remembrance for loved ones by Leo Marx. The life that I have is all that I have, and the life that I have is yours. The love that I have of the life that I have is yours, and yours, and yours. A sleep I shall have, a rest I shall have, yet death will be but a pause, for the peace of my years in the long green grass will be yours, and yours, and yours. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And we wish you a very, very safe journey home, a blessed week ahead. Thank you for joining us today. God bless.
Thank you. Bye-bye.